I'm waiting for someone to say hello back to me. Hello.
Hello.
Yay. Great. Welcome. This is ACI 10, Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Part 1. This is Class 3. Nice to see you all. We'll start with mandala prayer. If you don't know it, it's okay. We're going to put it up on the screen for you. Is it up? You can see? I can't see. That's okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Jack, would you mind turning off your microphone and you can be there, say?
I'll do it through your computer.
Okay.
私、吹き出しめとら、Vivalishi Sangye Shindu Mikde Owagi Jokunanda Shingla Drupa Sho Irang Guru Ratna Mandala Kamnayatayami.
Okay, cool. You can take that down. Hmm. So thank you for coming. We talked in our last class about what did we talk about in our last class? I know what we talked about. Do you guys know what we talked about? What did we talk about? You can turn your mic on so I can hear your answer if you would like to. Really? Or someone in the room. What did we talk about?
Nirvana.
Good. We did talk about nirvana. Good, good.
What happens when you see emptiness directly?
Oh, good. We did talk about that. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you, Lee. And we talked about the five paths
Mhm.
from like the moment you get renunciation until you become a Buddha. Um, I was interested if you guys caught something from the last class. So we talked like pretty in depth about those five paths. What's the one thing on those five paths that I skipped over? Did anyone notice what I didn't talk about? I mentioned all the paths, but there was one path that I didn't much give any explanation. I said, this is the path, and then I just went on. Nope, nope. Path of seeing. Yeah. Path of seeing. The most important one. I didn't talk about it. Why didn't I talk about it? Why didn't I describe it? Anyone have a guess why I didn't talk about it? I will look in the chat to see if someone is brave. No, that was for last question. Because you do know. Maybe you mean I don't know. I don't know. That's true. Um, that's not why I didn't talk about it though, but thank you for pointing that out.
Because it's coming in this class?
Nope.
Oh.
Why didn't I talk about it? Why didn't I talk about, and why doesn't Geshe Michael, more importantly, why has he never, ever, ever said a single thing about the 20-minute experience itself? Good, Olga. Because it can't be described. Because words are relative reality and emptiness is absolute reality. And you can't use something relative to describe something ultimate. It's impossible. And also, now I know to watch the translators' mouths, and if they're still moving, I should take a breath. It's good pranayama, actually. I will breathe more. What was I going to say? See, that's a problem with breathing. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. Um, path of seeing, ultimate, you can't. Oh, right. And also because it's an absence of a thing. So how could you possibly use something positive, which are words, to describe something negative? Like blackness, when you turn out the lights, you can describe around it. You can say, well, you can't see anything, and maybe you bump into stuff. But it would be quite difficult to explain to someone who'd never seen darkness what darkness is. This is a terrible example, by the way, but this is the best that I could come up with in the moment. But that's the reason why you'll hear a lot about the other paths, but you'll never hear directly words discussing uh, the path of seeing because words, it's indescribable. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about this since the last class. Okay, so today's class, so today we're going to talk about, well, last class we talked about the motivation behind bodhicitta and why you would want to get bodhicitta. Um, and it's interesting when you think about what are necessities that we need as humans, what are some things that we need to survive? Like food, um, water, shelter, air, yeah, sleep. We really go 3 days without sleep. You can't. Uh, hope. Hope is considered. Did you say hugs? Oh. My friend here said hugs. You can't survive without. I love that. Yeah, hugs are good. I maybe yeah, human touch, like nurturing, we need it. Um, but also we need to have compassion. Like to walk around selfish all day is God, that's horrible. I don't think, I mean, I'm selfish most of the day, but at least once a day I think about at least once a day I think about, someone else or what someone else needs. But could you imagine to be a person who never thinks about what other people need at all? I just think that would be so terrible. And Flavia's dog friend agrees. Uh, oh, hi. You're pretty. Hello. Nice to meet you. Um, so we all need to have compassion. We need to be compassionate people, and we really need to have compassion coming back at us. That's another necessity for being human. Um, so, people are really, it's interesting. Those monks, did you guys hear about the monks who walked across America? Yeah, I know. Olga, go Google monks walking across America, not during this class. You can do it afterwards. But they inspire, they're just these like Theravadan monks. I don't know much about them, but they started in Texas and they made it, I think, yesterday to Washington, D.C. And yeah, they made it. And they had a dog walking with them. Olga, you'd love it. Uh, and the whole thing was just an act of love and compassion. And they inspired, Americans are like, we used to have this rumor that America was built on like love and compassion and taking care of other people. These days, yeah, at least the look on Lee's face, not so much anymore. And I think I haven't been in America for years, but my feeling from my friends who are there is people are really suffering and um, they're missing getting compassion from other people. They're missing having a government that's compassionate. They're missing the feeling that it's okay to be a compassionate person. And these monks brought out, thousands and thousands of normal, non-religious, non-Buddhist people who were just starving for examples of compassion. So it's, a nice thing to think about as a person in a class like this, that you too could be an example like that for other people. So Master Shantideva now in this book is going to start talking about methods for us to get that kind of compassion. So there's conditions that it's called tunkan. Everybody say tunkan, tunkan. So that's a conducive condition, like for getting what you want. So, and just in a conventional sense, like if you want to give a Dharma class, it's helpful on Zoom. It's helpful to have a friend who has a hotspot, or it's helpful to be in a place with working Wi-Fi and with working electricity. Um, if you're me, living where I live now, you have many gelkyans. Everybody say gelkyan. So a gelkyan is a condition that works against getting the thing that you want. So you're really like, you need to get online to teach your class, but there's no Wi-Fi. Maybe your friend's phone ran out of data. It didn't, but maybe it did. And the electricity went out, which it did. We're working off of a generator right now, and hopefully the generator will keep working. Hopefully we have the tunkan, the conducive conditions of the generator not going in the middle of the class. Otherwise, I will teach you in the dark. Yay. So my friends are laughing because they've been here for a few weeks and now they understand Gelkans and Tunkans. Um, So what's blocking us from getting bodhicitta? Like I just told you all these reasons why you should want to get bodhicitta. Um, but like you can't just go on like Etsy or Amazon or whatever they use in your country. What are the other ones? What do you have in your country to get stuff? Shopee. You can't just like go on Shopee and order yourself some bodhicitta. Or like go to the restaurant and be like, I'm gonna have some French fries and hold the ketchup, but give me the bodhicitta. It would, you can't do that, okay? So what's blocking us from getting bodhicitta then? We have inner obstacles to bodhicitta, and it's sort of like, duh. Obviously, we have inner obstacles to getting bodhicitta, but what are they exactly? So we have to figure out what the inner obstacles. Oh, we just had a tin can of the lights going on. So that was exciting for us here in India. The lights go on. It's a great night. Okay. Um, sorry, I had way too much chai today, folks. This class is going to be fun. Okay. So you have to figure out what the obstacles are that are blocking you from getting bodhicitta, and then you have to learn to get rid of them. And luckily, we'll be talking about it today. Um, so the first thing that we learned in chapter 1 is that you need this compassion and you won't feel content until you get it. And chapter 1, I think we described a little bit about what it feels like when you get bodhicitta. So you feel the wish to have bodhicitta, you get the intention for it, and then you do things to get it, like coming to this course. And then chapter 2, which is what we'll talk about tonight, tells us what's holding us back. And so to get rid of these bad deeds, the first thing we're going to need to, well, it's not the first thing. It's actually the fourth thing, but this is a weird Gelugpa list. The thing, so just I'm going to go through it and you'll understand. Um, but the thing that we need to do really, it's called Dikpa Shakpa. Everybody say Dikpa Shakpa. Dikpa Shakpa. So Dikpa means bad deeds. And Shakpa, the technical translation is to split yourself open and say, I did it. So the real meaning of Shakpa is to confess. Yeah, there you go. This is a picture of what I assume to be an attractive man in the shower. Uh, we were trying to figure out like what would be the best metaphor for confession and giving yourself. It's like an inside bath. I called it spring cleaning in the advertisement for the class, so I guess we could have used a picture of someone cleaning their house. Um, but um, but we thought it would be like also giving yourself a bath on the inside to clean away any dirty things. Okay. But before we get to Dikpa Shakpa, before we get to confessing our bad deeds, we have to do a lot of really good karma first so that the confession actually works. It's not enough to just confess. First, you need to collect some really good seeds, and then you get to the confession. And if you meditate, then you'd notice from the 7 branches of the preliminaries that you do before meditation, that first you make an offering and then you confess. I always feel like I want to confess first, but the reason we do the offerings first is because we need good seeds amassed so that the confession works. In case you were ever curious about that, this is where we learn why we do it in that order. So there's 3 prerequisites or I was calling them the 3 necessaries for what you need for the purification to work, but my friends didn't like that because it's not proper English, but I think it's very correct. But anyway, for the proper English, it's the 4 necessities for bodhicitta, and then 3 of these are the 3 necessities to make your Dikpa Shakpa work. So the first one is called Chaksawa. We're going to go to Chaksawa first. Yeah, they're not in order. Yeah.
Okay.
So Chaksawa, everybody say, I keep waiting to hear you guys on the Zoom, but you're all muted. One day I'll realize it's 2026. So everybody say Chaksawa. Chaksawa. Good. So Chaksawa means prostrations. So Chak means hand, and this is an honorific word for hand in Tibetan. There's like a bunch of different Tibetan languages. One is it's called Shesa, and that's how you would talk to a lama. And then there's like colloquial Tibetan, which is called it's Kage. Kage? And Pege, sorry. And then that's what you would just say to your friends. So in the regular colloquial Tibetan, this is your lakpa. But in Shesa, this is your chak. So what a prostration means is that you're going to your lama. Your lama has something in their hand, and you're asking them to grant you the thing that's in their hand. So maybe it's a teaching, maybe it's nirvana, maybe it's total enlightenment. Traditionally, before a teaching, you would do chaksawa to the person teaching because you're asking them for the thing that they have. You're asking them to give you what they have in their lakpa or their chak, which is the dharma. So I grew up Jewish, and there's a commandment. You could take that down for a sec. There's those 10 commandments, and like one of them is don't bow down to anything. So when I first started coming to Dharma class, it was different than it is now. Okay. When I first started coming to Dharma class, everyone was doing their prostrations, and I was like, I don't know about this. If my mother saw me here, like, I don't know. I better keep my mom, my very Jewish mother, away from these Dharma classes because if she sees me or all these people bowing down to some guy, I'm gonna be in, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. So it took me a long time to understand why we do chalk. And the short for chalk so by the way is chalk. And it took me even longer before I did my first chalk. It was probably 8 months or something. I'm like a skeptical person and I won't do something. I'm a terribly stubborn person. I unfortunately, but sometimes it's helpful. But I won't do something unless I understand why I have to do it. And like for anyone who's never done a chalk cell, you want me to slow down? She said slow down. Okay. Sorry, I got excited. Let's breathe.
Oh, but no, she said wanted something else.
Oh, what does she need? It's okay. Okay. For anyone who's never done a prostration because they're like, this is lame, it's okay. It's better to not do it than to like try to fake a prostration, like to just do it because everyone else is doing it and you feel social pressure. Like the Lama knows that you're faking your prostration. Okay. So they'd probably prefer you to not do it than to do something blindly without faith or devotion or without the logic behind it. So we'll talk tonight now actually about why we do the prostrations. Um, so um, they say that actually the first time that you do a real authentic prostration is when you see emptiness directly and you just throw your face on the dirt because you've actually met the Buddha for the first time. Um, I've never had that experience, but I have felt like experiences where I had like great devotion to my teacher. Maybe they like gave an amazing teaching or gave me some amazing advice or sometimes just if you're around like a holy being you get this like if you're fortunate you get this overwhelming sense of devotion to them and you just feel so lucky to have met them and to be in their presence and maybe you realize you will lose them one day and so maybe then you would like throw yourself at their feet and now these days we don't do prostrations in public. Like we don't even do them in Dharma class anymore. But you should watch the senior students. They drop a lot of stuff. Get it? They drop a lot of stuff on the ground when they're around Geshe Michael. You should start watching. Get it? I'm going to teach you the formal way to do a prostration, but there's a sneaky way to do a prostration. Okay? You can think about it. Good. Okay. Um, so when you do a prostration, you shouldn't be like, or like sometimes you see people doing prostrations, but they have this like blank look in their eye. And you should be thinking about the Buddha. You should be thinking, when you do a prostration, you should be thinking, I'm in the presence of the Buddha. Otherwise, the prostrations don't really work. So this might get lost in some of the translation, but I think this is like a total like punk rock thing to do. This is like a big like, excuse me, fuck you to society because no one wants you to prostrate. Everyone thinks it's weird. Okay. It's totally different. It's totally alternative and it's totally sacred. And it's on a chance for you to assert your belief in this system and a chance to assert your faith and to do something that everyone thinks is crazy. Like even some of your Dharma brothers and sisters would probably think it's weird if every time you were around Geshe Michael, you dropped a pen on the floor and bent down to pick it up. They'd be like, I don't really, does she have like something wrong with her hand? Like, um, the thing about prostrations, unless you live where I live, but generally in 99.9% of the world, there's no social pressure to do a prostration. And so a prostration, you know, is a chance. Everyone wants to be unique and different, right? This is a chance to stand up and say, I'm different, I'm unique, I bring something special to the world. Um, it's a chance to get up and do something totally non-commercial. You will never earn money for doing prostrations. No one will respect you more for doing prostrations. Um, it has no connection to your worldly life whatsoever. It is 100% spiritual, okay? And especially if you do prostrations when you're alone. And when I was It was wonderful. It really opens your heart and it really helps with your devotion because like I said, like especially when you do it alone, like the only reason to do it is kind of to say, "Hey Buddha, I know you're there. I know you exist. I know you're real, and I'm so in awe of you." Oh, I froze. Okay. Am I still frozen? No. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to keep talking about prostrations. It really makes you feel like a connection to the Buddha, and it really makes you feel a connection to your Lama. So I would encourage you guys to try, when you're on your own or in private, you try to do some prostrations. They're also good exercise, which I probably shouldn't say, but you will get a workout. My Tibetan doctor actually told me I should do prostrations to help my shoulder, and I was like, I don't think that's a reason for me to do prostrations, but it is a side effect. Um, so when you do the prostrations, the point is don't waste your time. So I wanted to get up and show you how to do a prostration, but I don't really know how to do that on Zoom. So I'm not going to get up, but I can show you a little bit. So the first thing you do is you fold your fingers together. Good. And then you close your hand. So you never want to do a prostration with your fingers out because you always want to be offering something. It's very unauspicious to do a prostration with an empty hand like that. You put your thumbs in like that, and then you put your hands over your head. All my friends have their hands over their heads and they look really funny. Okay. You put your hand over your head here, and then you put your hand at your like your third eye or your forehead. Two. You put your hands here at your mouth or like your throat area, and then you put your hands here. And if you do it really fast, which is generally how I do my prostrations these days, well, I am getting older, so sometimes they're very slow. But when I feel energetic, I'm like boop, 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 boop. And sometimes you see people do it like that. Don't be one of these people, okay? There's just like no point. Just do it like boop, 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 boop. And you don't have to say boop when you do your prostration, so it's not necessary, okay? Uh, And that's how the Boop lineage of Tibetan Buddhism started in 2026. That's where all the video froze and all you heard was boop, boop, boop. End of class. Okay. So when you put your hands up, I'll put this back. When you're putting your hands up here, um, you are gathering the causes to get the physical form of the Buddha. So that's the Nirmanakaya. And then the forehead, you're gathering the causes to get like a special, there's a special mark that all Buddhas have that I'm not going to talk about. Um, there's someone once said, I don't want that mark. Can I skip this part? And we all laughed. So I don't know what the answer is because we just laughed about it. When you put your hands here at your throat, that's the seed to talk like a Buddha, to speak like a Buddha. And then you guys can probably guess when your hands are at your heart, that's the seed to think like a Buddha. And there's different ways to do prostrations. You can do a half prostration where I really wish I could show you guys, but it'll just be super weird and awkward. But you do a half prostration, which is probably the ones you've seen where kind of like your knees are on the ground and your head is on the ground. And then there's a full length prostration where you're like this, and then your arms are straight. You put your arms, you're on the ground, your stomach's on the ground, your whole body's laying on the ground, your arms are out, your legs are out behind you, and your forehead's on the ground. And then you get back up. That's a full length prostration. And there is a practice where you accumulate 100,000 full length prostrations. And that typically takes like 3 to 5 years or something. And that's called a Ngundro practice. And we don't much do it in our group, but I know a lot of students who have done those and they're really cool. Okay. Yeah, Jason Kappa did many, 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 many prostrations. Okay. So when you do your prostrations, you should be thinking about the 3 jewels. And you should be going for refuge. Can you bring up that list again? Yeah. Is there a refuge in there? No.
Coming.
Okay. Yeah. So this is also one of the causes, one of the preliminaries you need for Dikpa Shakpa. So this is called going for refuge or Kapsudrowa. Everybody say Kapsudrowa? Kapsudrowa. So that's going for refuge. So what's refuge? So refuge is like Geshe-la's calling it shelter these days. So that's when like there's something that you're afraid. Oh, you can say hi to all my friends because the camera is on.
I have the camera.
That's okay. We're not in prison, by the way. That window, we're not in jail, okay? The window bars on the window made it look like we're in prison. I promise you, I am not teaching this class from a jail cell. Oh, we all had too much chai today. Okay. So when you going for refuge or going for shelter is like there's a rainstorm and you don't want to get wet. And luckily you have an umbrella, but it's raining too hard and probably your umbrella isn't well made and it's about to break on you. And so you're running and you're trying to find like a shelter, in some countries they call it a bus shelter because it's like a little 3-walled house with a bench and you sit on it when you're waiting for the bus to come and it shelters you from the rain and it shelters you from the sun. So in our lives, we need some refuge or shelter because we have fear. And the fear is of samsara or being born in the lower realms or any of the multitude of terrible things that can happen to us in this realm. So who do we go for shelter for? We go to shelter to the 3 jewels. So everybody say Kunchok, Sum.
Oof.
Kunchok, sum. So kun means hard to find. Chok means supreme. And sum is the number three. So that's the three jewels. They're the supreme hard to find. So hard to find is another word for jewel in Tibetan language. So that's where you get three jewels from. So what's the first jewel? The first jewel is the Buddha jewel. We have a Buddha jewel picture.
Good.
I think so. What comes after that? Oh, show the Tonka. Okay. So the first jewel is Buddha jewel, and there's two types of Buddha jewels. There's what's called the nominal Buddha jewel and the actual or ultimate Buddha jewel. So the nominal Buddha jewel would be like this Tonka. We actually sell Tonkas to sell, this helps support our program to train translators. So I really, really, really like Tonkas. Like they're so beautiful. You look at them and, sometimes I always say that Tonkas, they sell themselves because people have these incredibly emotional reactions to the Tonkas. Sometimes I've seen many students walk up to a Tonka and just start to cry because they feel so much faith or devotion for that particular Buddha. Um, so I never even have to try to sell a tanka. People just feel this devote, which is very lucky because I'm a terrible salesperson. You should see the looks on their faces. I might have just sold this tanka to the two women sitting in front of me. But so that's like nominal Buddha jewel, but that's not the Buddha. Right? Like, I don't think anyone here would think that that tanka itself could protect you from anything. If you got cold, I mean, you would never use a tanka this way, but if you were like dying of cold and for some reason all you had with you is a tanka, you could wrap it around yourself. That's the closest that tanka can come to protecting you. Okay, that is not Buddha jewel. I mean, that's not ultimate Buddha jewel. Okay. So what's ultimate Buddha jewel? What is ultimate Buddha jewel? I just completely blanked out on what ultimate Buddha jewel is, to be completely honest. Uh, ultimate Buddha jewel is the Dharmakaya. Ultimate Buddha jewel is the emptiness of the Buddha. It's the emptiness of the Buddha's mind. That's ultimate Buddha jewel. So when you go for refuge, while it's very nice to have a tanka in front of you while you're going for refuge, and you can use it as a reminder of who you will become in the future, which is called result refuge. What you really want to be thinking of, what you want to use the tanka as a crutch for, is to remind you of the Dharmakaya, which is the emptiness of the Buddha. You also have your own emptiness. So you already have something in common with the Buddha. But when we go for refuge to the Buddha, we're trying to seek protection in the idea of the Dharmakaya, okay? Okay. The next jewel is say chu. Chu. So that's Dharma. So the nominal Dharma jewel is the books that were written on Buddhism. So like we never put a Dharma book on the floor, or you should never step over a book, Dharma book, or just like throw a Dharma book in the trash when you don't want it anymore. When I lived in New York, we all had like, this much Dharma papers, more than that even. Like sometimes I had 3 feet tall of worth of Dharma papers I didn't have time to burn. They're hard to get rid of because you have to treat them like they're a jewel. So it's challenging when you start amassing a lot of Dharma papers. But that's not the real jewel. The real jewel is the direct perception of emptiness and the cessations that come with the direct perception of emptiness, such as not having doubt about the path anymore. Okay. And then the last jewel is the Sangha jewel. So the nominal Sangha jewel is like monks and nuns. People who wear like the red or the yellow robes are considered like The nominal Sangha jewel. So, a lot of Dharma communities, they always let the monks and nuns sit at the front. And when there's a Dharma teaching, there's a special section set for them ahead, of everyone else. And um, they usually don't have to pay to come to the teachings. And, people make offerings to them, like more than they would to like another practitioner. But the ultimate Sangha jewel is anyone who's seen emptiness directly. So, what's the one thing that all these jewels, these ultimate jewels, have in common? Anyone? What's the one thing these three jewels have in common?
Emptiness, the emptiness of the
For
jewel.
$0. Yes. Yeah, emptiness. They all have it's the emptiness of the Buddha's mind. It's the direct perception of emptiness, and it's a person who's seen emptiness directly. And then they say, like, just about the people who've seen emptiness directly, they say, like, if there's one person alive, when you're alive in the entire planet who's seen emptiness directly, then you are living on a lucky planet. So when you do your coffee meditation tonight, you can think about that. I'm going to take a drink of water. Translators, now would be a good time. Okay, good. So, when you do your prostrations, then you should not be thinking that you're bowing down to a picture on a wall or that you're bowing down to a book. Okay. Or if you go to a Dharma class and someone's teaching and a bunch of people are doing prostrations and you feel that like social pressure, I better go do a prostration. At least, my God, even if you feel no faith for this person, just imagine they're an Arya. And you can imagine you're bowing down to Aryas, you're bowing down to the direct perception of emptiness, and you're bowing down to the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. Okay, otherwise, this will work out your arms. But if you're not thinking about emptiness as you're doing the arm movements, all you do is get a good workout and, better ways to get a good workout, okay? So you should be thinking about emptiness as you're doing your prostrations. Okay. So the other thing you need to do, this is a less heady part of our class, um, so you can all relax a little bit. The other thing you need to do, in order for Dikpa Shakpa to work, what's Dikpa Shakpa? I know it was a long time ago that we talked about Dikpa Shakpa. What's Dikpa Shakpa?
Bad deeds.
Yeah, it's purifying your bad deeds or confessing your bad deeds. Yeah. So So in order to purify them, you need to do your prostrations, you need to take refuge, and you need to make offerings. So you won't get bodhicitta if you don't make offerings. Okay? A lot of people think, sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry, you guys, I still have a little bit of a cold, so I'm gonna blow my nose. Sorry, bad timing. As I said, I always get sick when I teach Dharma. Here we are. So a lot of people think that making offerings is a little lame or silly. They don't think it's important. They think it's a little bit of a waste of time. They would pay $8, that's US dollars, for a tea at Starbucks, but they would never spend $8 on offerings to their altar because why should they? That's just like you're going to get some $8 cacao nib dark chocolate bar and you're going to put it on the altar and it's going to melt. And, the Buddha is not coming to your house to eat the offerings anyway. So it just seems kind of lame. Okay. You shouldn't think that way about offerings. Okay. Making offerings is an art form. And if you ever are fortunate enough to like visit a big Buddhist temple, not Zen, okay, they have a different kind of temple, but like if you visit like a Tibetan temple or sometimes I think Chinese temples also, they love making offerings and it's so beautiful and they're so good at it, okay? And these temples, they don't tend to have a lot of money. Do you think that these practitioners would just be throwing away money on offerings if it wasn't important? Like these are people who live in countries where they don't necessarily have enough food to like feed their children, but there's hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of offerings in the temples. It's valuable to them, okay? So don't make making offerings, and I like to do it in the morning. Don't make it an obligation. It should be an honor, and it's a thing that like spiritual geniuses do. It's like you're so smart to make offerings, okay? And again, like the prostrations, it's an activity that's totally useless, okay? We are not allowed to eat the offerings we put on our altar. You have to get rid of the offerings. And it's very annoying to get rid of the offerings because you also can't throw them in the regular trash. Nope. You have to dispose of it in another way. Because it's a gift you gave to the Buddha. You gonna put a gift you gave to the Buddha in your garbage can with like your bad milk? No, you can't do that. So, um, again, like the prostrations, no one cares that you're making offerings. Most people will never see it. Um, and it should always be a selfless offering, which is why we don't eat what we put on the altar, or why you would never take a sip out of the water from your water bowls. Um, I wish I could show you my altar. I have water bowls out, they're filled with water. I have like a butter lamp that's burning right now. Um, but you would never like go to your water bowls and then drink out of the water bowls. That would be like the worst thing. We don't do that, okay? So don't buy things that you want for yourself, okay? Buy things that you think the Buddha would like. What would the Buddha like? It's a trick question. The Buddha likes everything. Everything the Buddha looks at gives the Buddha great bliss. But you could imagine what Tara would like, or what would Manjushri like, or what would your Heart Lama like, and then you can offer it to them. You shouldn't just be buying the things that you like. Um, hmm. Many years ago at Diamond Mountain, people were pretty much exclusively giving Geshe Michael dark chocolate. He's like, could you spread a rumor that I don't like dark chocolate? Because he didn't like dark chocolate. He hated dark chocolate. I think he still doesn't like dark. Don't give him dark chocolate. Don't feel bad if you did. He doesn't like it though. But he said to me, why does everyone give me dark chocolate? I said, because they like dark chocolate, Geshe Michael. You know. So, if you're making an offering on your altar to your teacher, try to find out what they like. Maybe they like espresso or cappuccino. And then for a while, I was like making cappuccino in the morning and just putting it on the altar for my teacher, or maybe your Lama likes herbal tea. You can make a cup of herbal tea. It doesn't have to be just water you put in a bowl. You can get very creative with your offerings, which we'll talk more about very soon. And it's really fun. So, if you're like a poor person or you're a person who doesn't have a lot of money, or frankly, if you're a wealthy person who's a little tight-fisted, and it like hurts you psychologically to give, especially to a being you can't see who won't ever come and drink your $1,000, I don't know, champagne you put on the altar. You can start with water bowls. Most of us have access to water. Like in India, we offer the filtered water because it's a little harder to get filtered water, and I don't want to offer the yucky tap water that I won't drink. So at least we offer the filtered water. Um, so you can just start with water at the beginning and like a stick of incense or something, and like a little tea light is a nice thing to do in the morning. And then as your heart gets bigger and your fist gets a little looser, then you can start to make bigger offerings on your altar. Um, and when you're making an offering, you're declaring to all the Buddhas and to anyone who can read your mind and anyone who cares to listen to you, I believe in you. Even if I can't see you, and maybe there are weeks or months that I can't even feel you, I believe in you and I know you're here and I know your sole purpose is to help me and take care of me. And I'm going to put this offering on the table for you. So, it's a beautiful thing because, like the prostrations, it's not a worldly activity. Okay. So, what's the point of making an offering to a being who can't use the thing you're offering? What's the point? It sets you up for Dikpa Shakpa. Yeah, good, Olga. It helps you to accumulate the seeds so that when you do your confession, it actually works. Okay. And what's the point of Dikpa Shakpa? The point of Dikpa Shakpa is it sets you up to get bodhicitta. You can't get bodhicitta if you aren't doing your confessions because your mind has to be clean and clear. And really, like on any given day, our thoughts are making so many, we're making so many bad deeds just with like our stupid thoughts that we have about every or any person, that random person we see on the street. So I can say like in just in my experience, my mind used to be very noisy about other people that like when I was younger and like very judgmental and I would like I'm talking about when I was in my 20s, okay? But I'd like look at some lady and be like, why is she wearing those pants? Or what's she doing over there? And it was like so loud in my head. Um, but after many years of a lot of prostrations and offerings and Dikpa Shakpa, it's much quieter in here. Like, it's very rare that I have that sort of thought towards another person now. And when I do, it's like, where the hell did that come from? And so I can tell you really that um, like even if you don't get bodhicitta, like right now, at least it will help you. These things will help you to quiet down your mind and just in a mundane sense make you a kinder, better person. So what are the things we should offer? Um, AI was in like a very fairy tale mood today, so you're gonna see some photos that you might feel like you're in a Disney movie. But here we go. Okay. So we should offer the things that no one, you don't have to put it up yet. We should offer the things that no one owns. So the things that no one owns are mountains, the ocean, the sky, flowers, the moon, the sunset, um, the stars, maybe you feel a cool wind, the sound of the ocean, um, anything that it's usually something in nature that no one owns. Okay. And it's really fun to like walk around all day and just try to look for beautiful things that you can offer to your Lama or to the three jewels. Like instead of just like looking at a sunset and saying, oh, that's so pretty, and throwing away the thought, You can say, oh, that's so pretty. I have to share it with my llama. It's such a nicer way to enjoy the sunset, especially if you're alone and you're feeling lonely. But you could just be like, hey, llama, here's the sunset. And then it's like the best company. And then the second type of thing that you can offer is your own body. And like, what does that mean? Because I'm nowadays that actually might sound suspicious, but what but what it really means is I don't know, I think about like my life and I spent how long? It's like 21 till it was like 10 years of my life where I just more and more, well, 10 or 11 years where I just exclusively worked for my teacher. And I was exhausted and I used a lot of like my personal resources, but I didn't really have any resources because I was not working much for money. And like a lot of like my emotions were spent and my time was spent. That's like a big resource when you're serving your teacher. Um, but that's an amazing way to spend your life is using your body as an offering for your teacher. Like, I would I would go sorry, I would go grocery shopping. I remember the first time Geshe Michael sent me grocery shopping. And he told me it was this special like Arm and Hammer toothpaste that he needed. And it was like hydrogen peroxide for sensitive teeth. And it had to be a certain size. And it had to be like a very particular, like spearmint or peppermint. And I was 21 years old, and he was going to India where he couldn't get this special toothpaste. And the toothpaste had to fit every one of these requirements. I can't even tell you how many supermarkets I went to get this very special toothpaste, which guess what? Guess what? It didn't exist. There was Arm& and Hammer toothpaste. There was Arm& and Hammer like 12 ounce toothpaste. There was an Arm& and Hammer spearmint toothpaste. There was like an Arm& and Hammer like sensitive teeth toothpaste, but there wasn't one that had all of them. And I just remember at the American Idiom went on a wild goose chase. Our idioms are very strange, but it means like I just ran around New York City in the winter, by the way, and it was very cold, searching for a toothpaste that didn't exist. So I did end up buying him like five different types of Arm. I bought him every single type of Arm& and Hammer toothpaste I could find. And I remember just being at the airport with him and being like, oh, and when I repeated back to him what he had asked for, he's like, but that doesn't exist. Why would I ask you to get that for me? Uh, but these are, you know, these are offerings that we make for our teacher, and these are ways that you can offer your body to your teacher or to the Lama or to the three jewels. And they're just as valid as offering a sunset. And luckily, if you're lucky enough to have a close relationship with a Lama, they will use your body that way as that kind of offering. And you spend so much time, and it's such a honor for one. And two, because you're spending so much time doing it, you're planting so many insane number of seeds. You're planting way more seeds than you could ever plant by offering sunsets all day, or by putting water bowls out there, or by doing prostrations. Your lama, if you're lucky enough, will keep you so busy that all you ever have time to do is serve them, which means then you are making so many good seeds that later, whatever spiritual practice you try to do will be a success. And look, I can say like I haven't had like a traditional like career, and I don't come from money. My parents don't have money or anything like that. But somehow, like, I'm okay. It's very strange, and I'm very sure it's from running around looking for the freaking toothpaste for Geshe Michael for 12 years or something. So, really, if you're lucky enough to have the opportunity to run around and do stupid stuff, like look for toothpaste that doesn't exist for an Arya, then, you should jump at it. Or, even if your teacher, if you don't perceive them as an Arya, if they ask you to help them with something, you're extremely lucky. I will quote Geshe Michael. He said, it means to give your own body means I give my life to the service of the three jewels. I put myself in your service. Just use me. I will say you have to trust your teacher, otherwise you're going to get resentful and tired and you won't like it. So make sure you trust the person before you give them your body as an offering. Okay. Now, next is the offerings you send out from your mind. So these are like fantasy offerings. Um, and we made a PowerPoint, and like I said, AI was in a weird mood today, so some of these pictures are a little funny, but um, so there's offerings like giving the Buddha a bath, which is funny because the Buddha doesn't have like a physical body. Their body's made of light. But that's why these are imagined offerings or offerings that you send from your mind. They're like fantasy offerings, okay? Um, like you offer them a beautiful place to live, or you offer them this beautiful bath that just magically pours itself. And these are just pictures that I personally found on AI. They're not even close to what I personally imagine for my offerings. And you should use your imagination and think of like, the most beautiful place you ever went in your life. And then maybe you could give the Buddha a bath in that beautiful place. Or, um, you can also look on AI and hopefully they'll be in a better mood when you do your searches than they were today, for me. So, yeah, Japanese baths would be like, yes, thank you. Uh, They're amazing. If you ever go to Japan, you can just like say, "Oh, there's this town called Hakone, and it's an onsen town, which is it's just hot tubs. It's just natural springs, and it's almost like a tax write-off when you go, because you could just be like, "Oh, I'm just doing research for my meditations on giving my Lama or the Buddha or the three jewels a bath. I have to go here. It's a Dharma requirement." Um, and then that would be even extra good karma while you're sitting in the hot springs. And I recommend going if you can go. That was like the one vacation I ever took in my life, and it was wonderful. Okay, so the next thing we offer is clothing. I almost made you guys repeat clothing. Say clothing. You don't need to say clothing. Uh, the Tibetan is nupsa. You can say nupsa if you want.
Enough, so.
Yeah. Oh, go back to the last one because I'm going to teach them some Tibetan from that one. Go back to true.
Okay.
Yeah. So the word for no, you're on get. Oh, I'm on get. There you go. Sorry, my slides are slower than yours are showing. So the word for bathing or to wash is true. So do you guys remember all that time ago I told you the word for hand in Tibetan? Who remembers the word for hand? You can be in the room with me. Which one is it?
I remember Lakpa.
Lakpa. Yeah. Yay. It's lakpa. Good.
Be-based.
Good. So the word for wash your hands, and in Tibetan, it's like a little backwards, but it's lakpatru. That's how you say wash your hands in Tibetan is lakpatru, which if you ever come to India, it's a very important thing to know how to say. Okay, so after bathing, what happens after bathing? What do we do after we offer them a bath? Yeah, napsa. So that's fine clothing and I don't know. I don't have that many clothes really. Almost all my clothes just fit in like one suitcase. But I always sort of fantasized about having like a closet like this because I always thought it looked so cool. But I'm like a Buddhist who travels all the time, so it would just never, my clothing addiction and my lifestyle just don't like match. Um, but this is like you're thinking of the most beautiful clothes or silken robes that you could find. I asked AI to find me beautiful clothing, and everything was like a dress from like the 1800s. So, so this was the closest we could find. Oh, Lee's raising her hand. Lee, do you have a question, or is that just to tell me the word for lakpa? Did you have a question?
No, I don't know how that hand got there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. But high five to you. Okay.
sorry. Sorry.
No, no, it's fine. It's cute. Don't worry about it. Okay, the next one, Jack. The next one is called Gen. Everybody say Gen.
Yeah.
In the secret teachings, this becomes an important word. I won't tell you anything else, but there you go. You should learn this word. So here it where's my English? It applies, it applies to like the ornaments that a Buddha wears. So if you ever look at a tanka, you can see they've got gen, they've got these ornaments like they have earrings or they have a bracelet. Um, or maybe they have a necklace or they have some special thing that they're wearing. So that's Gyan. So you can offer, imagine Gyan ornaments or jewels. The next thing that we offer is ointment. So then you're imagining you're putting ointment on your lama's body or you're giving ointment to the Buddhas or you're putting like ointment on Tara's holy body or Manjushri's holy body and like for the ritual for the bath, there is a very prescribed ritual. I think you can find it in the Georgia text that Geshe-la taught in like 2013 or 2014 in Phoenix. But there they describe how to give the Buddhas a bath, and it's really cool. The next one that you can offer is flowers. So everybody say Metok. My friends learning Tibetan were just whispering Maytok under their ears. I think it's like the first word they learned, and now they won't stop saying it. We need to teach them some more words. So, so Maytok, look, you also obviously you can offer Maytok in person, and you always see people offering Geshe-la flowers. But one of the very beautiful visualizations you can do is a sky full of flowers. And so this was the one AI picture I actually really liked this time. And like, that's cool. If you have a good imagination, you could spend 10 to 20 minutes just like thinking about a sky full of flowers for your teacher. Um, that's really cool. Okay. The next thing that we can offer, dun, 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 is incense. So this is so easy. I mean, obviously you can do it as imagined, but you can also do it. Most of these you can do in person. I wouldn't recommend offering Geshe Michael a bath. Maybe not that, but like the other ones, you can mostly do in real life or as an imagined offering. But like clouds of incense, they say clouds of incense are really nice. Um, like the most beautiful smell that you can imagine. Uh, I had a karma when I was younger that I had like sinus infections all the time. And I didn't know it, but I only had like 50% sense of smell. And then I got a surgery, which was very terrible, but I got the surgery. And then I could suddenly smell things. And it was revolutionary to my life to suddenly be able to smell like chocolate chip cookies or incense at full power. So your sense of smell is, you don't realize how powerful it is until you smell something bad. But it's also very powerful for positive things. So it's a nice thing to imagine. Okay, next. The next thing you can offer is food. Say shelse.
Yes.
Shelse. So this is honorific for food. In the colloquial in Tibetan is called kala. You can say kala. Kala. Yeah. So this again would be a word you would use to describe like something you are offering to a lama. Um, so this is fine food, and I love Paris, and I love carbs, and I love cake. I don't love strawberries, but AI wouldn't remove the strawberries from the cake. I personally think strawberries ruin every cake they ever touch. Um, but here we go. So, your fine food might be totally different. I really just wanted to offer New York City pizza, but I didn't think visually it would look very beautiful to you. But sometimes I just offer pizza to my lamas or to the Buddhas, okay? Um, and you can see how the visualizations will be different, so different for everyone. Like I have a friend who only wants to eat eggs and potatoes. And probably when she does this meditation, she's offering like a side of fries with an omelet, which makes me feel like please don't offer me that when I'm a Buddha. Give me cake. But like my friend sitting to my right is like, well, I don't like sugar. Don't offer me that cake. So it's so the offerings just it's very personal to you, okay? And you should feel the freedom to use your imagination to give whatever you want. Okay, after the shall say, we have light. So I showed this picture, is a picture up. I showed this picture to my friend, and my friend was like, that's weird. I don't like that. But for me, like the New York City skyline on the ferry from Brooklyn to Manhattan, if you go at night, those lights, and this isn't it. I didn't show you. I wanted to keep it secret, but this is a different skyline that might be New York. I'm not sure, but this isn't the skyline I'm talking about. But the lights are so beautiful, and they really, for me, they do something to like my prana. Whereas like my friend, maybe their light would be like a shooting star or Christmas lights, or you just, like I said, have to pick what resonates with you. So the Tibetan is Nongso. Say Nongso. Very good. Okay, the next one that we offer, excuse me, sorry, you guys. The next one that we offer, this one I thought was a little funny. It's called Xiao Mei Kong. Say Xiao Mei Kong. Xiao Mei Kong. So this is where you're offering like a celestial mansion or a palace. Why does why do the three jewels need a palace or a mansion? Why does the direct perception of emptiness need a mansion? You can think about it. They talk a little bit more about it in the reading. I suspect, and I don't know, I just suspect that these are things that we as humans can relate to. Um, Maybe we can't relate to the things that the Buddhas really want. I don't know. You can think about it as you're offering your own celestial mansion. Okay. The next one that we offer, did someone put an answer in the chat? Was that you? What did you say? Yeah, so we can have the resources to help others. That's a nice answer. Okay, the next thing we offer. Oh, and one thing you can do, there's this cool magazine called Architectural Digest. I love this magazine. I don't usually read magazines, but this one just has these photos of these beautiful houses. And like I love the way people decorate their houses. This is a weird thing about me. I always When I'm in like, sorry, I shouldn't say this online, but here we go. I started. When I'm in a really fancy neighborhood, I want nothing more than to go into people's houses and just see their furniture and just see how they decorated their house. Like, I want nothing from, I don't want to take anything. It would be better if they invited me in, but I've never done it. But I really want to go inside these houses and just see what they look like. And but there's this magazine called Architectural Digest, and you can get some really good inspiration for your own mansion offering. Okay. I promise I won't sneak into anyone's house. Okay, the next one, Lavinia's like, please don't ever come to Romania. Okay. Oh, you'll show me some house? I will definitely go if you show me some houses. Okay. So the next one is offering of parasols. So a parasol is like an umbrella. This is a very beautiful example of a parasol from Japan. And I was wondering, why do we offer parasols? Like, is the direct perception of emptiness going to get sunburnt? Probably not. Is the Nirmanakaya going to get sunburnt? No, because they're made of light. They don't need a parasol. Why are we offering a parasol? And it's to shield you from the three poisons. Who knows what the three poisons are? Ignorance. Yeah. Yeah. Stupid, ignorant, like stupid liking, like where we would hurt someone to get where we want. Like if you just suddenly decide you wanted Greenland and you're gonna like bomb all of Europe because you like that country, that would be ignorant liking. And then in case you were curious, and then ignorant disliking is where you would hurt someone to avoid something that you don't want. Like, I'm not going to give an example. Okay, moving on. So that's so Duke, that the word for parasol is Duke. Everybody say Duke. Duke, good. Okay, next. And then there's Romo. So it's the offering of music. And we decided that Bob Marley was universally loved by everyone in the entire world. So I was going to choose someone else, but Bob Marley seemed like less controversial than the guy I was going to choose. Um, so in your mind, you know, you can offer the best concert you ever went to. Um, you could offer the best like guitar solo you ever heard. You could offer just pretend music you make up in your mind. You also can offer beyond an imagined song, you could play an actual song. And instead of playing it for your own enjoyment, you're offering the song to the Buddhas. You could also get this, listen to the song, offer the song, but also offer the enjoyment that you yourself are feeling. You can offer the enjoyment that you're feeling from this beautiful music to your lamas or to the Buddhas. And then you're not just using up seeds. You're not just using up good karma when you listen to music you like. You're reinvesting those seeds to hear even more good music. Just so exciting. Because, you know, sometimes I don't know, I've gone through years in my life where every time I turn on the radio, my ears are like bleeding from pain from the music. And then I go through periods in my life where the music is just incredible. And I'd much rather live in a world where we skip the bad music years. And then the last one, I didn't make a slide for it, is the last offering we make with our mind. It's called the act of blessing, and I'll just quote it. It's the act of blessing so that the stream of offerings can continue forever. And you can read more about that in the reading, and I didn't know how to make a slide for it, to be honest. But you should do the reading. The reading's very beautiful this time, and it's not difficult. You don't have to like do hardcore emptiness meditation for this reading. So these are all actions that you do to teach you compassion. I mean, that's something to remember when you're making the offerings. And I mean, I can say also just like when you're offering the sunset, now it's the same thing with the music. You're not spending the seeds on the sunset. Now you're reinvesting the seeds for even more beautiful sunsets in your life that you can offer to even more teachers and more holy beings. So I just want to do a brief meditation. Um, and then if it's really that brief, we might have like 2 minutes for a question or two. That we'll just do a short offering meditation. And this is from the Master Shantideva's reading that you'll get, but I thought it would be nice for you to get it as a meditation first. And I'm just going to read it to you. So everyone but me should close their eyes. So this is from Master Shantideva on how to make offerings. Give flowers and fruits, as many as exist, and all the different herbs, as many as there may be. Give each and every precious substance contained in the planet, all the pure and lovely water that exists. Give the precious mountains, and so too the forests, quiet places of refuge and lovely spots. Give the plants, studded with flowers, the trees whose branches are bent low under fine, ripe fruit. Give fragrances and incenses, even those which are found in the worlds of pleasure beings and the like. The wishing tree and the tree of precious substances. Give grain that grows without ever being planted, and any other lovely object which is worth presenting. Lovely lakes and bathing ponds bedecked with lotus blossoms, and water birds of beauty singing their splendid songs. I imagine in my mind each and every one of those objects owned by no one, which may exist in all the infinite expanse of all of space. I offer these in an excellent way to the highest of all living beings, to the able ones, along with their sons and daughters. May all of these beings of highest spiritual realizations who possess the ultimate form of compassion look upon me with love and accept all I offer. Okay, you can open your eyes. So let your imagination go wild. Go outside in nature and look for inspiration. There is no limit to what you can offer. And I know sometimes people skip the readings, but I really recommend doing this one because it will really help your meditation and your offering practice for the rest of your life. And if anyone has any questions, we have 3 minutes, so I can take a question if anyone has one.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, but talk loud. Can I put you on camera?
Uh, Can I just?
Yeah, just be loud.
Okay, so you said it's better that we don't offer anything that we want ourselves, but can I like split that thing? And if I really like this tea,
Mhm.
then can I like split it into two and offer half to the Buddhas and half for myself?
I would recommend buying the Buddhas their own
Oh,
tea,
okay.
because otherwise you'll be lusting after the tea on the altar.
No, I mean, I already.
It's better to not do 50-50 with the Buddha. You should do 100.
Make two separate.
Yeah, do two separate. Yeah, like when I used to offer the cappuccino, I made them their own cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't do 50-50.
Okay.
You might have a 50-50 result. Yeah, and look, don't avoid offering things that you like. I'm not like don't go offering things you hate. That's like a really weird bog chop. But the point is don't don't go to the store and be like, oh, I love lemon meringue pie and I'll offer it because I know once I offer it, then I can eat it and it saves me the money of having to buy two lemon meringue pies. Don't do that. Buy two lemon meringue pies.
Okay.
Okay, and also like just even when you walk around the grocery store, whatever you know your llama likes, you don't have to buy it for them, especially if they live on the other side of the world. I once sent a box of croissants from Paris to Geshe Michael. It was very expensive. They got held up in customs for a week. He got a box of very stale croissants. Croissant. I know Lee wants to correct my horrible pronunciation. Don't necessarily do that. I could have just offered them in my mind, saved $250, and the karma probably would have been the same. So the imagined offerings really they're free, and they're what's the word, infinite, and they are very precious too. Yeah. Yeah, Olga?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the class. So I want to clarify if the question, if we have the opportunity to ask to Geshe-la, is that what does it mean you are not called more by your name? Is that the one? In last,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, please. I like that I have 24 people who can help me get the answer to that question. Thank you. Okay, I don't know what has happened, but I miraculously ended exactly on time, never before, probably never again. Thank you, ACI. Thank you, translators who most of you I've never met. So I really, really appreciate you guys interpreting for me and my wild American English. And to the people recording, thank you. And tech host, thank you. And students, thank you. And people who will be watching later on YouTube, thank you. Okay. Have a good few days. We will see you on Monday. Bye.